In the heart of a remote mountain village, nestled among ancient pines, stood the revered bell tower of the Eerie temple. The villagers spoke in hushed tones of the ghost that haunted its shadowed heights. A spectral figure who rang the bell at midnight, heralding misfortune. Drawn by these whispers, our team of paranormal investigators arrived, armed with cameras and curiosity, unaware of the darkness we were about to awaken. Our team consisted of seasoned investigators and a few newcomers, each driven by a mix of skepticism and belief. We had explored many sites before, but the Sairiji temple felt different. The air was thick with history, and every corner seemed to whisper secrets from centuries past. As we set up our equipment, the villagers watched from a distance, their eyes filled with a mix of fear and hope. We started our investigation during the day, hoping to get a sense of the temple's layout and its energy. The bell tower, with its towering presence, loomed over us, casting long shadows that seemed to move with a life of their own. As we ascended the creaking wooden stairs, each step felt like a journey back in time. The higher we climbed, the colder it became, as if the air itself carried the sorrow of the past. At the top of the bell tower, we found the ancient bell, its surface tarnished and weathered by time. It was said that the bell had not been rung by human hands for over a century, yet the villagers claimed they heard it toll at midnight. As I ran my fingers over the cold metal, I felt a shiver run down my spine. There was an undeniable energy here, something that defied explanation. As night fell, the atmosphere grew increasingly tense. The temple grounds, bathed in the pale light of the moon, took on an otherworldly quality. The villagers had retreated to their homes, leaving us alone in the eerie silence. We gathered in the temple's main hall to review our plan. We decided to split into pairs, each taking a different part of the temple with the goal of capturing any paranormal activity on our cameras. I partnered with May, one of the newer members of our team. She was a local, familiar with the village's history and folklore. Her presence was reassuring, yet I couldn't shake the feeling that we were intruding on something sacred. As we moved through the temple, the wooden floors creaked beneath our feet, and the shadows seemed to dance just beyond the reach of our flashlights. We made our way to the bell tower, where we had set up several cameras earlier. May and I decided to conduct a session using a spirit box, hoping to communicate with any entities present. As we began, the device crackled with static, and I asked simple questions, hoping for a response. The minutes ticked by in silence, the anticipation growing with each passing second. Just as I was about to give up, a faint voice emerged from the static. It was barely audible, but there was no mistaking the sorrow in its tone. "Betrayed," it whispered. May and I exchanged a glance, our hearts pounding. We continued asking questions, and the voice returned, speaking in broken phrases that hinted at a tragic past. We knew we were on the verge of uncovering something significant. The voice spoke of a love lost, of promises broken, and of a life ended too soon. As the pieces of the story began to come together, I felt a profound sadness. It was clear that the spirit was that of a young woman, betrayed by someone she loved. Her anguish had bound her to the bell tower, her spirit unable to find peace. The air grew colder, and I felt a presence close to us, watching, waiting. Midnight approached, and the tension in the air was palpable. We regrouped with the others to share our findings. Each team had experienced something unusual, from flickering lights to disembodied whispers. It was clear that the temple was a hotbed of paranormal activity. We decided to gather in the bell tower for the midnight toll, hoping to witness the phenomenon firsthand. As the clock struck midnight, the air grew heavy with anticipation. We stood in the bell tower, cameras rolling, waiting for the fateful toll. The silence was oppressive, broken only by the sound of our own breathing. Then, without warning, the bell began to move. It started slowly, a low rumble that built into a deafening clang. The sound reverberated through the tower, shaking the very foundation of the temple. The bell's haunting toll resonated through the temple grounds, louder and more menacing than ever before. The investigators, now mere shadows in the dim lantern light, faced the ethereal figure of the betrayed lover, her sorrow and rage palpable. In a final heart-stopping moment, the ghost's story unfolded before us, revealing a truth more horrifying than any legend. A cycle of betrayal destined to repeat until the temple's bell tower crumbled into silence. In that moment, the temperature plummeted and the air grew thick with a palpable sense of despair. The ghostly figure of the young woman materialized before us, her form shimmering with an eerie light. Her eyes, filled with sorrow and rage, locked onto ours, and I felt an overwhelming wave of emotion. It was as if her pain had transcended time, reaching out to us across the centuries. She began to speak, her voice a haunting melody that echoed through the bell tower. She told us of her love, a forbidden romance with a monk from the temple. Their love had been pure, but the jealousy of another had led to their downfall. The monk's rival, consumed by envy, had betrayed them both, leading to the young woman's tragic death. Her spirit had been bound to the bell tower ever since, a constant reminder of her untimely demise. As she spoke, we could see the events unfolding before our eyes, like a scene from a long-forgotten play. The monk and the young woman, their love hidden away in the shadows of the temple, their stolen moments of happiness, and the eventual betrayal that led to her death. The pain in her voice was undeniable, a haunting reminder of the injustices of the past. We stood there transfixed, as the ghostly apparition recounted her tale of woe. Her presence was both terrifying and heart-wrenching, a testament to the enduring power of love and the depths of human cruelty. It was clear that her spirit could not rest until the truth was revealed and justice was served. We knew we had to uncover the identity of the betrayer and bring her story to light. Determined to help the restless spirit find peace, we delved deeper into the history of the temple and the village. We spoke with the elders, poring over ancient texts and records, searching for clues. The more we uncovered, the more it became clear that the betrayal had been covered up, buried beneath layers of secrecy and shame. The temple had a dark past, one that it had tried to keep hidden for centuries. As we pieced together the fragments of the past, we discovered the identity of the betrayer, a fellow monk who had harbored a secret love for the young woman. His jealousy had driven him to commit unspeakable acts, leading to her death and the monk's subsequent banishment from the temple. The villagers had tried to forget, but the ghost of the bell tower had never allowed them to completely erase the memory. Armed with this knowledge, we returned to the bell tower, hoping to find a way to communicate our findings to the spirit. As we stood in the shadowed heights, we felt her presence once again. This time, there was a sense of anticipation, as if she was waiting for us to reveal the truth. We spoke her name, telling her of our discoveries, and the air grew charged with energy. In a moment of profound connection, the ghostly figure appeared before us once more. Her eyes, filled with a mix of sorrow and hope, bore into ours as we recounted the events that had led to her death. We spoke of the monk's jealousy, his betrayal, and the cover-up that had followed. As we finished, a hush fell over the bell tower, and the temperature began to rise, the chill of despair lifting ever so slightly. The spirit, now understanding that her story had been uncovered and her pain acknowledged, seemed to waver before us. There was a sense of release, as if the weight of centuries had been lifted from her shoulders. She gave us a final lingering look, her eyes filled with gratitude and sadness, before fading into the darkness. The bell tower, for the first time in living memory, felt at peace. As we descended the stairs, the dawn light began to filter through the ancient pines, casting a warm glow over the temple grounds. The villagers, sensing that something had changed, emerged from their homes to greet us. We shared our findings, and the news of the ghost's release spread quickly. There was a palpable sense of relief and closure, as if a long-held burden had finally been lifted. In the days that followed, the temple underwent a transformation. The villagers, inspired by the spirit's story, came together to restore the temple to its former glory. The bell tower, once a symbol of fear and sorrow, was now a beacon of hope and renewal. The ghost of the bell tower was no longer a source of dread, but a reminder of the enduring power of love and the importance of confronting the past. As we prepared to leave the village, we couldn't help but reflect on the impact of our investigation. We had come seeking evidence of the paranormal, but what we found was something far more profound. The ghost of the bell tower had been a victim of love and betrayal, her spirit bound to the site by the weight of her unresolved grief. By uncovering the truth, we had helped her find peace, and in doing so, we had brought healing to the entire village. Our team, forever changed by the experience, parted ways with a sense of accomplishment and reverence. We knew that we had played a part in something much larger than ourselves, a story that had spanned centuries and touched countless lives. The memory of the ghost of the bell tower would stay with us, a reminder of the power of love, the consequences of betrayal, and the importance of seeking the truth. As I left the village, I took one last look at the bell tower, its silhouette stark against the morning sky. The weight of the experience lingered in my chest, a mixture of sadness and fulfillment. We had given voice to a story long buried, a tale of love and loss that had echoed through the ages. The bell tower, once a place of dread, now stood as a monument to the resilience of the human spirit. In the weeks that followed, our investigation became the subject of much discussion within the paranormal community. The story of the ghost of the bell tower spread far and wide, capturing the imagination of many. But for me, it was more than just another case. It was a reminder of the power of storytelling, of how the past can reach out and touch the present, and of the importance of facing our deepest fears. The memory of the ghostly figure, her eyes filled with sorrow and rage, haunted my thoughts. I couldn't help but wonder what might have happened if we hadn't uncovered the truth, if her spirit had continued to haunt the bell tower for centuries to come. The thought was chilling, a reminder of the fragility of peace and the enduring nature of unresolved pain. As time passed, the story of the bell tower became a local legend, a tale passed down through generations. The villagers, no longer afraid of the temple, began to embrace their history, using it as a way to educate others about the importance of love, forgiveness, and justice. The bell tower, once a place of fear, had become a symbol of hope and renewal, a testament to the enduring power of the human spirit. Looking back on the experience, I realized that the ghost of the bell tower had given us a gift. She had shown us the importance of uncovering the truth, no matter how painful, and the power of love to transcend even death. Her story had become a part of us, a reminder that the past is never truly gone, and that the echoes of history can still be heard if we listen closely enough. As I returned to my everyday life, the memory of the Seiryuji temple remained with me, a haunting reminder of the story we had uncovered. The ghost of the bell tower, with her tragic tale of love and betrayal, had left an indelible mark on my soul. I couldn't help but feel a sense of gratitude for the experience, for the chance to help a restless spirit find peace and to bring healing to a village long burdened by its past. The bell tower, with its ancient wood and weathered stone, stood as a silent witness to the events that had transpired. It had seen centuries of history, had been the site of love and loss, of betrayal and redemption, and now it stood as a symbol of hope, a reminder that even the darkest of stories can find a resolution, that even the most restless of spirits can find peace. In the end, the ghost of the bell tower had taught us all a valuable lesson, that the past is never truly gone, that it can reach out and touch the present in ways we may never fully understand. Her story, with its mix of sorrow and hope, had become a part of us, a reminder of the power of love, the consequences of betrayal, and the importance of seeking the truth, no matter how painful. As I reflected on the experience, I realized that the story of the ghost of the bell tower was more than just a tale of the paranormal. It was a story of humanity, of love and loss, of the ways in which our actions can have far-reaching consequences. It was a reminder that the past is always with us, that it shapes who we are and how we see the world, and that it is up to us to learn from it and to seek justice for those who have been wronged. The village, once shrouded in fear and mystery, had been transformed by our investigation. The ghost of the bell tower had become a part of the village's identity, a story that was shared with visitors and locals alike. The villagers, once burdened by the weight of their history, had found a way to turn their past into something positive, something that could bring people together and inspire them to seek the truth. In the years that followed, the temple became a place of pilgrimage for those seeking answers, for those who had been touched by the story of the ghost of the bell tower. People came from all over to hear the tale, to walk the temple grounds, and to pay their respects to the spirit who had once haunted the tower. The temple, once a place of fear, had become a place of reflection and healing. For me, the experience at the Seiryuji temple was a turning point in my life. It had shown me the importance of facing the past, of seeking out the truth, no matter how painful it may be. It had taught me that love, even in death, can have a profound impact on the living, and that the echoes of the past can still be heard if we listen closely enough. The story of the ghost of the bell tower had become a part of me, a reminder of the power of storytelling, of the ways in which our past can shape our present and our future. It was a story that I would carry with me for the rest of my life, a tale of love and loss, of betrayal and redemption, and of the enduring power of the human spirit. As I look back on the experience, I am filled with a sense of gratitude for the opportunity to have been a part of something so profound. The ghost of the bell tower had given me a gift, a story that would stay with me forever, a reminder of the importance of love, of the consequences of betrayal, and of the power of the truth to set us free. In the end, the ghost of the bell tower had found peace, and so had we. Her story had been uncovered, her pain acknowledged, and her spirit had been released from the bonds that had held her captive for centuries. The bell tower, once a place of fear and sorrow, now stood as a symbol of hope and renewal, a testament to the enduring power of love and the importance of seeking the truth, no matter where it may lead.